Going on with you all today. Yeah, I'm coming to you from the same place as I always do. And I have a little video that I want to title Death. Alright, the reason why is because of this. Back in 2009, April of 2009, which is almost here, my dad passed away. And he left me with a lot to think about and a lot of ways to follow in his footsteps. I have yet to get there. My dad filled some mighty big shoes. And I really couldn't do all of what I hoped to do. But one thing that I can say is that my dad was a great person. He truly was an amazingly great person. And for that reason, I'm hoping that I will eventually become the great person that my dad was. But I can remember back to April of 2009, I was sitting in his hospital room by myself, and the doctor came into the room and he was telling me what all was going on with my dad. My dad was non-respondent. He was on a ventilator. And he was not doing well at all. He had surgery, 4 months prior to that? I believe it was January. I might be wrong. If I am, so what? It was either January or February. My dad had major surgery. He had staples all the way from his sternum down to the pit of his stomach. He had heart surgery. And, my dad went through a whole lot of pain. And I always felt really bad for him. I even wished that I could take his pain for many moons so that he wouldn't have that type of pain. Because that's how much I loved my dad. My dad, like I said, he was my confidant. I could always go to my dad in times of need. Speaking wise, my dad was the best comforter, I guess you could say. Like, he always comforted me when I had a major problem. He always gave me good, sound advice. And I always went with his advice. There were some times that I tried to do my own thing, which we all do. I mean, we don't always listen to everything that our parents say. But when we don't, sometimes we learn a big lesson later, Like I did with my mother when she told me don't go to the Philippines, I went anyway. And I learned major lessons during that time. My mom, it was like she already knew what was going to happen. And it was kind of like a I told you so type of situation with me because, she said it and it happened just the way I guess she thought it would happen in the end. So, but to get back with this story, the doctor told me that a perforated ulcer had eaten into his colon. And when that happens, in your colon you have your body acids that eat up, toxins and food and things like this to create, it's not a nice word, so I'll just say poo, that goes out, waste that goes out of your rectum when your stomach is full. Anyways, the perforated ulcer ate into his colon and caused all of his organs to start being affected by the acids that were coming out of him. So ultimately it started eating away at his lungs and his kidney, and because he had a kidney surgery and only had one kidney, it was a replacement, and his liver, and eventually it would have got to his heart. He had calcification on his heart anyways, so it was just a matter of time. And the doctor explained so many things to me, medically wise, that he said the likelihood of my dad living through that whole situation would be a slim 1% chance. And my dad told me 30 years before that, and many times after that, that he was not the type of person that would even care to be on a machine. He didn't want to be on a machine. He said, if I'm ever on a machine, make sure they take me off of it, because that's no way to live. And if God wants me to, pass away and go to his resting stop, because nobody goes to heaven as soon as they die. I mean, there's a lot of belief along that line, but there's no truth to it. You go to a resting place, and then when the great white throne judgment comes, everybody will enter and be judged by my Father. But nevertheless, he said he did not want to live on a machine. All it would be is just him laying there in a hospital bed or hospice or wherever they put you. And he would never see the light of day again anyways. So my mom showed up at the hospital a little bit after that, and I told her, I said, well, he never wanted to be on life support. And she said, you're right. And so we got together as a family, myself and my two sisters and my mom, and we talked about it, and we decided to go ahead and do it. So at 5:51 p.m., my dad was taken off life support. And at 5:57, my dad passed from this earth. And I am the one that saw it. I watched him the whole time. And before the machine actually flatlined, I saw his spirit and his soul come up out of him. And it like floated up. That's the best way that I could describe it. It was like a dark kind of shadow. It wasn't like in the movie Ghost, where the sky seems to open up and there's a big bright light, and that's all fairy tales. But it seemed like a dark shadow coming up out of my dad. And I said out loud, he's gone. He's gone. And I said it with passion. Of course, I was very distraught. And, I didn't want my dad to pass, of course, and I loved him very much. But I shouted it out loud before the machine ever flatlined. And then maybe 3 or 4 seconds after that, it flatlined. And my sister was on her knees in front of my dad over near his bed. But I was like standing like close to his feet towards the back and right at the clock. So that's how I knew what time it was when they took him off and what time he passed away. It was 5:57. I remember exactly. And of course I was hurt and I was distraught, and 3 nurses and the doctor came in. The one nurse, she practically tackled me. I'll never forget that. She was kind of a big woman, and she came in the room and I was crying, and I was, at that time I was sitting in a chair, and she came up and gave me the biggest bear hug, and she had tears in her eyes like she felt it, and it was a really bad experience at the time, but I was humbled and kind of happy to a certain degree, because my dad was in pain that whole time, and I wanted to see him without that pain anymore and not having to take all that medicine. But fast forwarding it a little bit, I had a woman not too long ago. She was telling me that she had wished death upon several people, and I felt some kind of way about that, because, and I'm not questioning her faith or anything like that, but at what degree do you, anybody, believe that you're doing acts of yourself, or are you doing acts of God? Because my Father is the only one that has the say when we pass. You can't just wish, or you could wish death upon somebody, but as I said before, anything that we wish will always come around, because what comes around goes around, and it will come back to you. But I hope and I pray that this person, nothing happens to her, because I do love her, but I don't know. I really don't know. I don't even know that she didn't try to do something like that to me. But I'm still here, as I said, because I am my Father's. I am him and he is me, because he is inside of me. And I don't know how to explain that any better than that. And even if somebody else other than her has wished that upon me, I also feel sorry for them, because I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, and I know that it would come back to me. I have never wished anybody any badness, because if they do badness to me, they always get the they always get the same back to them. And I don't want anything like that to happen. Even when they do it to me, I wish them the very best. I truly, truly do. I never, ever would wish badness upon anybody. And definitely not death. People have reasons to do things and they feel some kind of way like they're right about it or whatever. It's not my job, like Saddam Hussein in Iraq, Osama bin Laden in Afghanistan. I never wish them guys dead because my Father is there and He's watching. You can't play God. You can't be God. Now He does say in the Bible that if you wish a mountain to go from here into the sea, all you have to do is have the faith of a mustard seed and it will happen. But that's nothing like wishing somebody dead. Why would you even consider thinking about that? You are making yourself to be my Father. And it's wrong. It's totally wrong. And I hope you know that. If you are listening to this video, I hope you know that. It's wrong. I don't know. I mean, I view that as being very childish to believe that you could actually kill off somebody by wishing them dead. And who gives you that right? Not my Father. I'm sorry to tell you, but it does. Even going as far as to saying, if she wishes it to rain, it will happen. That is also another thing that only can come from my Father. What are you, an Indian? Indians do dances, American Indians. They do dances and rituals to try to make it rain. Are you an Indian? No. And I don't believe that Indians can do it either. But He did say that anything you believe in your heart to happen, it shall come to pass. So this is why He said that your mouth and your heart and thinking is all important. Because for whatever we wish to happen, it can come to pass. But when you're malicious with your thinking, that's when it's time to reconsider what you're wishing upon. Because if you wish death upon somebody and it comes to pass, it will return to you. I want you all to know that I love you so very much. Love yourself. Love yourself. Love my Father God by all means. And by all means, love each other, people. Until the next time, love, peace, and soul.